So I've completed my poison dart for Vivarium. I had a bunch of problems when I first got it. Number one is it had a waterfall, but I'd fill up the pond with water, and then I'd plug in the waterfall, and then overnight there'd be no more water. The water would be gone, there'd be no water in the pond, and it would all be in the bottom of the tank. So I'm gonna open this up. Hopefully no frogs jump out. I've already had them jump out. I might have lost one, I don't know. One time when I was opening this, I felt something hit my leg, and then I looked down, and I couldn't find anything, and I looked around with a flashlight, and I couldn't find anything at all, but, you know, something hit my leg. No idea what it was. I think it might have been a frog. I don't know. So, when I bought this, there was a waterfall, and it went from here, in the back. Let me just turn the flash. Try to get some light in there, sorry. So, all back there, like, that's a little ledge right there. And so, what would happen is the water would hit off each one of these ledges, all the way down, all the way down. And, there's the pond. And, so anyway, I guess, you know, over time, this thing was already a couple years old. So, over time, he was losing the water from the waterfall. It was getting in the back of here, and draining out. So then I filled up the pond, and I kept it filled up for 2 days, and it didn't lose any water. So I knew it wasn't losing water from the pond, so it was from the waterfall. So I disconnected his waterfall, and then I just ran a tube. Oh look, here's one of the frogs right here. Where is it? Where is it? Right there? I don't know how many frogs there are. 5, 8. I'm trying to get some light on him. He's kind of underneath a bunch of leaves. Yeah, there's one of them. I guess that's a male. Still not really 100% sure how to tell them apart. I know one is a female that I can see when I see it. There's supposed to be 2 females in there. I don't know. So anyway, with the waterfall, I just connected a tube. You can see it in the back there. Plastic tube, clear plastic tube. And then it goes all the way down here. And then I made a nice waterfall. I like the sound of running water. So with his previous waterfall, the person who owned the tank before me, since it was coming down off all the ledges, there was really no water sound at all, because the biggest drop the water made was at the end into the pond, and it was about a centimeter drop, so there was no water. So I ran this tube, and it's about 2 inches up, so it makes a nice sound, nice water sound in my living room. It's nice. And so I put a bunch of vines around this tube. Like when these plants start growing in, you won't see the tube at all. It's already kind of hard to see because there's so many plants. So I did that. I also had to, oh yeah, another thing. So yeah, the water, I'd go to bed, I'd wake up 8 hours later, and then this hutch underneath here would be like filled with water. So it was also leaking water out of the back. So I don't know. I wish the guy had told me, hey, it's leaking water, you know, before I went and filled it all up. Because when I bought it, he didn't even have this pond going. It was all filled with dirt. He abandoned the waterfall, and he just had like a dry vivarium going on. And you know, he told me, yeah, it's got a waterfall. You got to clean out the pond. You got to get the pump running, whatever. You know, instead of telling me, oh yeah, by the way, all the water leaks out. Because then I would have, you know, I could have siliconed it before I put water in it. But anyway, whatever. The guy screwed me around with that. So I siliconed it. It doesn't leak anymore. And then I put a pretty decent grade to it. You can't really tell, but well, you sort of can. It's higher here. You can see that. It's even higher here in the back. And then here's where it slopes down. There's no, it's not lifted there at all. And then it's raised a little bit there. So that puts all the water, any leaking water or whatever, comes right here. And then I got a tube in there. And the tube just comes here. And then I just siphon the water out. So any water that pools, I can get it out now, so it won't just sit in the tank and stink. What else did I do? I added a plant. I found this plant growing outside. It's green and I don't know, white plant here. I found it growing outside. It's like a ground cover plant, like a viney ground cover plant. I thought it looked pretty cool, so I threw it in there because everything's so green, right? Like all these plants will bloom. Like these are orchids, and I think they have nice flowers. I just got this, so it tells me everything blooms up in December or January. It's November right now. So anyway, yeah, so a lot of green, so I added this so at least there's some color. The white's not really a color, but whatever. I like the look of that. And then he already has lots of interesting plants like this thing. This thing's pretty cool because the leaves only grow one way off it. You know what I mean? Like this way, it's flat, completely flat, and then the leaves only grow sideways. So like if you had that at the side of your tank, it would grow perfectly along the side. And then this plant too is pretty crazy because so you have that's the main plant there, but then it branches out into more of these pod things. So it branches out once, branches out twice. So that's pretty cool. And then he's got this vine. It's like a reddish green vine. That's alright. Can't wait till this thing flowers. The only thing I want to do is I want to get moss. I like moss. I think moss looks cool. So he had a little bit of moss here. But I don't know. It's not growing. This is like a log. So I'm going to get some moss from outside and I'm going to grow it all on this log and then all on this thing too. It's just a piece of wood. But like the frogs never sit on that or do anything on that. That's why I put that skull on it. He had the skull right here in the center. But I want to be able to like look into this pond, and also I kind of want like a feeding area where it's easy for me to dump fruit flies in here, which I'm still, you know, practicing, learning how to do that. So I was having a hell of a time trying to dust them with calcium, and then I was getting calcium all over the tank. Like that's what all this is. I gotta wipe these plants off. This is pretty bad in here. That's pretty bad. But I think I got it figured out now anyway. I'm not spilling so much calcium. So that skull came with the tank. Yeah, so I'm going to cover this whole thing in moss. That's going to look cool. I might cover the skull in moss. I think these guys are laying eggs that I can't find. I have 2 eggs I'm working on. And then from the side, here's a fox skull. I found this in the woods. And I cleaned it up. I boiled it for like, I don't know, 10 hours probably total. Then I soaked it in water for 3 days. And yeah, all the flesh and stuff fell off. So that thing's pretty cool. Look at the teeth on it. It's just crazy. And I don't know why I saw a bunch of dead foxes where I was in the woods for work. So I don't know. Grab that skull. That looks pretty cool. So yeah, that's the side view. front view. Gotta end this video 10 minutes, way too long. This is just the update on my tank. It's done. Got the water going. That's really what I wanted to show. My first video didn't show any water in it. I've never really seen the frogs in the water. I have seen them jump across, like go into the water to get to the other side. I've never seen them chill in the water, but they do chill on, like, there's rocks back there. I've seen them sitting on there a bunch of times. And so I put some rocks in the back, so maybe they'll sit on those. But I haven't seen them doing that. Anyway, also I was having one hell of a time trying to get the humidity up, because this thing says 67. I don't know. I never really believed that thing. You know, I spent $25 on that, and then so today I got another one. This is just an analog one, and it said 70. So, you know, I wasted money. That cost 15 bucks to just verify that this thing is correct. I couldn't get this past 60, so but I did saran wrap it. I saran wrapped it up here, and I siliconed glass. I actually took glass from these doors. I took the glass from those doors, and I put them up here, and I siliconed it, and finally I got to 60%, because I was stuck at like 50% until I put this glass on. Then I got up to 60%, 64%. It was around there, and then this area I kind of had like open, and then so I finally saran wrapped that. That's like 10 layers of saran wrap, like all the way around, even on like these clips and stuff. And so that's the highest I can get it, is 67%. Now these poison dart frogs are supposed to be at 100% humidity. Like, yeah, right, there's no way. There's absolutely no way I can mimic that. When I first set up this tank, I couldn't get it over 35%. Then finally, when I got the pond going at the waterfall, I've got the glass, I've got the saran wrap, it's 67%. I've seen that go to 70%. That's gonna be it. Like, what else could I possibly do to increase humidity on this tank? And that's why I thought that gauge was lying, because, like, look at the glass. I mean, it's covered in moisture and water. You know what I mean? It's just covered in humidity, and then that thing is telling me 60%. I didn't believe it. Bought another one. It tells me the same thing. So I guess it is 60%, 65%, 70%, and I guess that's what it's going to stay at, because there's absolutely pretty much nothing else I can do besides getting, like, I don't know, a fogger. But I mean, I'm already misting the hell out of this, so I don't know. But anyway, yeah, there it is. All set up, ready to go.